Hello, everyone. Welcome to Two and a Half Trucks podcast, the greatest podcast ever created, better than every other single one. We have today myself, Mr. Slowly, as one of your presenters. Another presenter is Ty.
Hello.
There he is. And we have a special guest because JT was brutally murdered.
Yeah, unfortunately, may God rest his soul. But who do we have today? Who do we have instead of little JT?
Yo, what's up? It's Rondog248, one of the hosts of the One Chuff at a Time podcast.
Friends of the show, of course.
I'm here to confront you guys for ripping us off. But we can.
We would never listen.
No. We did
Listen,
not.
it's not. Having a podcast is not your idea.
Okay, but doing one about the inspirations 2 episodes in is. Come on, guys.
Okay, hey, that wasn't my idea. Come on, Ty.
Sorry.
Yeah. Perfect. Ty is like monkey see, monkey do. That's Ty.
That is what they call me after all around town. But today, we all have to confront something. We're all old. We are all old fucking geezers.
I'm like,
and for Thomas, chauffeur baby, things about it have definitely changed for all of us as like time has gone on, and that's what I want to discuss today.
Yeah, that's the topic today. Is
Thomas
how Thomas has grown and changed over the years.
and
because I remember as a kid.
I said, and you're stupid for liking it.
Yeah, as a kid, I remember Thomas being like, as a really young kid, I remember like Thomas being so mystical. But as I've gotten older, it's just I don't know. I've become disenchanted with it quite a bit, which is I think both from me growing and also from the show getting bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of Thomas's appeal, especially like when we were kind of in the fandom at first, was because the show was really good. The toys were in the middle, kind of. It really depends on when you joined. Like 2014, 15, things weren't too bad. But like...
Trackmaster Revolution.
Well, yeah, but like right before it, when it was like King of the Railway.
Oh, yeah, no, like right...
Like
right
the 2013,
before...
2014 transition was like the peak time to be into the toys, particularly. But
Yeah,
like the show itself was like doing super well. And I feel like that's a reason why like a lot of us were so hyped about being a part of the fandom. Not that there's no hype nowadays, but like things have changed.
Well,
there's far less than there was back a fucking decade ago.
Yeah, no, 2015. I remember that year very fondly, because that was a crazy year for Thomas the Tank Engine as a franchise. Being a fan that year was so insane because I think really that's one of the only times when I think the showrunners were kind of on board with the fans. You know what I mean? Everyone was kind of not level playing field, but like the people who were making the show were listening and were like actually like, doing things that were maybe not like perfect, but they were decent. They were better than, what we've been getting before that for years.
Yeah.
Way better than Nitrogen and stuff. Oh, and not Nitrogen specifically, but like that era.
Yeah, the Nitrogen era of the show. I understand.
I do think there's like a blessing and a curse to having the showrunners listen to the fans. Because yes, you do get things you want, but also like because a fan base just in general is so fickle, like that turns really quick. Like for example, John, everybody really wanted more and more, but the more and more showed up, people kind of got sick of him.
Mm-hmm. Like I remember back in the day when like the one Unlucky Dog video that's no longer like up. I remember people like him sort of not starting that sentiment, but like that sentiment like kind of grew as that video came out.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just the nature of the beast. You can never really, when it comes to like doing something on that sort of level, you can't 100% cater to what people want from you, because that's so easy to change.
Because we saw it, we saw that change.
But Thomas sucks, guys. I'm sorry.
Thomas does stink.
Thomas stinks.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that one new kid show that uses the model trains.
It's like using like the periscopes and everything. Lenses.
It's using the periscopes,
but it doesn't look. Maybe because it's digital. But I was looking at some footage of that like yesterday, and it doesn't look amazing. If I'm being honest.
No, I agree. I mean,
maybe it's because I'm not a 5-year-old child, but I don't know. I'm not particularly convinced by the models. They kind of just look like toy trains to me.
Yeah, it also looks like a commercial, if that makes sense. Like as like
it does.
Yeah,
I can kind of see the commercial vibes. Like
I think it's great that they're I think it's great that they're using physical props and stuff, and I'm glad to see more of that kind of stuff in the film industry. But I'm not like this is clearly not made for me. I'm not a 5-year-old child. I don't really care that much.
And that's the thing for a long time before and now, I guess, and a long time after, Thomas was just that. It was just it was really just a show for little tiny babies and nothing more.
Yeah.
Because there's an argument to be made that like the classic era was still that, but there's still like stuff to like intrigue older viewers, like season 5 in general.
Visual wise, it was like a maturely visual show, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like it was like, I can't wait to come home from high school and watch Thomas season 3.
Yeah, no.
Coming out in the 90s.
Thomas the Tank Engine was, from its inception, always a thing for very young children. You cannot say that at any point of it that they had anyone else in mind but young kids when making Thomas the Tank Engine content. But that doesn't mean that like that's all that's there.
Yeah,
like Thomas exists beyond with all of the crazy. Thomas is interesting still to me, at least, because of all of the crazy lore and the funny little characters and stuff that didn't need to be in the show, which is evidenced by the hit era existing for so long, because that was a show that removed all of that stuff.
And still did not terribly,
Yeah, it did it did very well, I think. Mostly due to the toys, but
I think part of the mystique for Thomas, for me, that's like kind of gone, and it's not like I don't blame anybody for it, but like the wealth of behind the scenes info we have on the show now kind of kills Thomas for me, because I know everything about the show. Like I watch the show and I'm like, oh, I know exactly how they filmed that. There's like 14 behind the scenes photos for it. But
I remember
like SIF had this Tatmar like behind the scenes website where they didn't really have a lot of pictures, but they definitely had like how they built the trees and stuff, and that was like, wow, it's just enough information to keep me hooked. But now I know like everything. We know people that own the props.
Exactly. Like
we talk to one of those
friend of the show
at least once a day,
exactly.
or once a week.
Yeah, he's my G.
Friend of the show.
I remember as a kid being like looking up like SIF and seeing the pictures of the Marklin engine and going, "Who the fuck is that?"
What's going on? I'm scared. Yeah,
that's Mark.
Yeah, Marklin engine, interesting character.
Like I remember people trying to make him a character, but then it just didn't work ever.
Oh, people still do that. That's like a thing that people always do, because it's like a train character that you could just slap a face on and be like, look, he was there technically, but no, Marklin was a prop. He was not. He's like a German engine. He's clearly not supposed to be on the island of Sodor.
Yeah,
he was not there.
Feel like part of like your sort of disinterest in like sort of Thomas as a current thing, right? Like we like Thomas from like the past. Do you feel like the fandom has ever like increased or decreased your interest in Thomas like in the here and now?
Ooh,
I think recently.
Wow. Recently, I think decrease, yes.
Yeah, decrease recently, especially because the Thomas fandom will always be whatever the show is. Like people will always like whatever's coming out because Thomas is a show for young kids, and young kids tend to just do that. So the problem is, for the past 3 years, it's been the All Engines Go fandom, and I can't bring myself to watch that show. I muscled through one episode when it came out, and then that was it. I couldn't do anymore.
It's because because that is legitimately just for 3-year-olds.
Yeah,
we've had this discussion.
Gonna piss off some people. We're gonna get in trouble.
We are going to, but I would like to pose this question. This is something that we've talked about before. This is a question for All Engines Go fans.
Why?
Do you actually like the show, or do you like it because it has the thing you like attached to it? That's my question.
See, because I
don't see the difference between something like All Engines Go and Chuggington. I feel like the people who are currently going, "Wow, All Engines Go is the greatest thing ever," also have in the past been like, "Chuggington's a stupid baby show," because it was the rival to Thomas for a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess my point about like All Engines Go is I haven't really seen any of it, but I feel like a lot of All Engines Go people that I've seen on the internet kind of like to compare it to like the classic Thomas. Like, oh, well, All Engines Go does this and old Thomas didn't. But at the same time, like this is Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby. You know what I'm saying? Like not even like taking any sort of opinion of like All Engines Go is bad into it. You're comparing like a show with like a production value of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands back in like the 80s to like the most bare minimum Flash cartoon, right? Like Thomas All Engines Go is not like a production in comparison to like the classic Thomas. It's just how cartoons are made nowadays.
The thing about the All Engines like the Thomas fandom being the All Engines Go fandom now that is so disenchanting to me because it is the fact that there are so many people now. I think it's become the majority of All Engines Go fans who just will not shut the fuck up about like, oh, look, it's so much better than the old show. All the old people need to get over it. And it's like you can like your show, you don't need to preach about it every 2 seconds. It's so irritating because it's like I look on Twitter and it's like every 2 seconds I'm being slapped in the face just because I don't like this piece of shit Flash cartoon. Fuck off.
There is something to be said about enjoying something and not having to defend it like it's like your last stand. I think a lot of people, in fairness, a lot of younger people, let's be real with it. A lot of younger people look at All Engines Go and they see hate happening to it and they like it, so they feel like they have to like defend it. You know what I'm saying? And
that's the thing. That's the thing that so many people don't get.
And that's something that's always going to exist because I remember back in the day, people still did that with like the stuff that was coming out 5 years ago. You know.
Yeah, because it's another thing. Like the Thomas fandom's full of kids, and like a thing that like kids tend to do is when you say you don't like a thing that they do, they take it as a personal attack and they like freak out about it. But it's not that big of a deal, you know. I said Thomas and the Magic Railroad is a bad movie. It's like, oh my fucking god, kill yourself.
That's like we told you that Lightyear was bad and you got mad at us, right, Ryan?
Dude, Lightyear is bad.
Yeah, but at first you were like, it's not that bad. It's actually pretty good.
I didn't get mad. I was just like, no, dude, I like it.
No, Ty can back me up.
Actually, no, I can't. I wasn't in that call, I think.
No, there were many calls. So
there were. I mean, okay, it's also been several years. I don't remember.
You know what? We're gonna let sleeping dogs lie on this one. I'm sorry.
Bringing
that up out of nowhere.
Yeah, we gotta leave those.
I'm so disappointed about Lightyear, dude. That was my most anticipated film of that year, and it was so bad. It was so shit.
What year did that come out?
That was 2022. It was like right near the end of it, I think.
What else came out in 2022?
Sonic 2.
Sonic 2 did come out in 2022. That was epic.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like the Thomas fan, like just Thomas as a show? Like, when did you really stop like being interested in it? Because I'll tell you what, my interest in it stopped right after 20. I was really excited for 21, and then it came out, and I felt nothing. Not because the episodes were even that bad. I like a lot of the season 21 episodes, but like I think the hype around the show in 20 was so great, and then I just kind of fell off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree.
Let's see. I think mine was after season 22 because in 22 there were still some like pretty decent episodes. Like the Bulgy one was pretty good, On the Truck was pretty good, and the Merlin one. I was like, oh, these rock. And then after that, I just felt nothing. Maybe not they rock. Maybe they're like not as bad as the other ones that were coming out in this season.
I also feel like there was a lot of synergy between during the season 20 sort of era. There was a lot of synergy between the actual brand itself and like the fan base. Mm-hmm. Like the TCC was in its full prime at that point.
We were talking about that before.
Like tons of content creators were like just pumping out like classics at that moment. But after that, a lot of people,
TCC, man.
Well, not even that, but like a lot of people at that point, after season 20, let's just say, a lot of people kind of either quit because of other reasons or they had other obligations to do in life. And therefore, like one pillar of like the reason that we keep ourselves interested in it just stopped existing. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Thomas, we really needed to have that fan base all in and the showrunners or the brand all in. And we lost one of those pillars. And then that was, I think, the downfall, at least for me. That's the way I see it. And it's not like I'm blaming the fan creators either because, you know, life happens. But when the show started getting bad, and a lot of those, like that classic fan content we kind of relied on, stopped being made, things changed. And now there's a new generation of fan creators. Like the creators from like 2020, 2021, 2022, those guys some of them are still around, but a lot of like the classic guys that we grew up with, like they've moved on.
Yeah, like guys like Vinny or Nicky. His name is actually Nicky, so I'll say that. Guys like Nicky, guys like wow. I started that sentence thinking I was gonna have more off the rip, but I don't. Not to bring him up for a third episode, but Brady, Turtles and Thomas fell right off right after. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, Turtles and Thomas. So me and Turtles actually talked about this recently. I'm just kidding.
No, that didn't happen.
We talked about it a month ago.
I surely hope not.
But
I remember when I stopped watching Thomas, like kind of around when I was like 19ish, not 19, like 17, 18, 19. Because that was when Big World started coming out, and that was right near the end of when I that was like the last 2 to 3 years of high school. So I was really busy, I spent so much time, and there was a good chunk of like a year or two where like Thomas wasn't a part of my life at all. I was so busy hanging out with friends and stuff and being at school and shit that I kind of forgot about it. I didn't forget about it, but like I remember like walking into like the garage where I had all my trains for the first time in like a month, and I was just like, damn. I was just like, I just got all these trains and shit.
That's how I feel walking in the film every day.
But
fuck, what have I done?
I stopped watching Thomas when season 22 started coming out. I remember watching the first couple episodes of season 22, and I remember I think it was the one where Thomas is pulling the two Annie and Clarabelle repaints.
Yeah.
I think he might be in China in that episode. That was the one that I gave up on. I was like, all right.
Yeah, that was like the first one too.
And then I stopped. I did that thing that I just said I did, where I like stopped watching. I kind of forgot about Thomas as a whole for a little bit, but I came back for the Royal Engine. I heard about that, and that it was like the actual finale of the show, and I checked it out, and it was all right. It was fine.
It's so weird because it was especially after the Big World era that there was a lot of fandom people going around and saying that like we own we kind of decide Thomas's fate from this point onwards, and it was kind of cringe at the time, but I don't think it's necessarily unfair now. Like definitely the fandom carries a lot of Thomas's like enjoyment for everybody, so I guess I'm just curious about like how All Engines Go factors into that. You know what I'm saying? Because with classic Thomas content, there's a wealth of it. But like a lot of these All Engines Go guys, they just watch the show and buy the toys. They don't necessarily make a content out of it. They don't make something new from All Engines Go necessarily.
They just consume it and talk about how nice it is.
Whereas like, especially even in its prime of Thomas, like CGI, let's say CGI Thomas's prime. Yeah, we consume the show, we consume the toys, but we also use those to like make something new. It was like it was basically like an assembly line, right? Like we consume the product, we make something new out of it, and it just keeps going and going and going.
It was a spinning wheel.
Yeah, it was a spinning wheel. And All Engines Go has kind of just been like, well, the show is good, guys, and then that's kind of it. And they buy the push along Edward.
The show is good. Trust us.
But like, but then again, like, can you think of a person that's come up? Even like, how long has All Engines Go been out? Like a couple years now?
Like
3,
4?
4?
I think it was 3 years, like a few days ago.
So 3 years, and like, we haven't seen like one guy make new All Engines Go stories. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Admittedly, I haven't really been looking. That might be something that's on me to like.
Well, yeah, but like, think about it
know.
like this: like, had it All Engines Go really been like classic Thomas and better, we would have seen tons of people rise up and be like, "Yo, what? I'm gonna make a new story about fucking Bruno the Caboose or whatever."
Yeah,
I saw a Put Upon Percy remake that used an All Engines Go push along Percy.
Oh.
Well, no, but I'm talking like All Engines Go like stories.
New stories, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
The closest thing that I can.
But that's the closest thing that I can think of.
The closest thing I can think of is Wind Watch. Have y'all seen this?
Yeah, that's like
Wind
a
Watch
trains
numbers.
guy. He does like All Engines Go Thomas. Like,
yeah,
the one that's like where he goes into the shed and it's covered in like Where's Thomas posters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I love that.
But even then, that's not really like
That's not like an All Engines Go story. That's like a Thomas like mystery story with All Engines Go as like the sort of framing of it.
Yeah, so that doesn't really count, but that's really the closest thing to like content of this new era that I've seen.
But like it's crazy because All Engines Go Thomas is just like it's this whole different beast, and I understand why people kind of like it. I think genuinely it's the Brony effect where it's like, oh, it's like this fucking it's this kid show, but it's really deep because there's a scene where Thomas and Percy they hug it out. You know, like I think it's like that exact effect. But guess what? That show I think only lasted like 4 seasons. I think you'll maybe get 4 out of All Engines Go before they reboot it again. Because Thomas is no longer a long running. Thomas is no longer like a long running show with like a lore and a history that people care about. Thomas is now your basic slop cartoon for a cartoon show or for a toy line.
Yeah,
dude, they're gonna eat this up on Twitter. They're gonna destroy you.
Well, I hope they do because I'm a Transformers fan, and every new Transformers cartoon is 4 seasons and they reboot it again. So
yeah, I mean, you would know, honestly.
Yeah, no, genuinely, and I predicted this. Like, I didn't predict this, but like I was talking about this back in like 2016-17 that like eventually Thomas will hit that point where like because it's been a legacy show for so long, and Mattel just wasn't treating it like a legacy show. Even back in like 2016-17, they weren't treating it properly.
Yeah, they were just kind of making more.
Yeah, they were treating Thomas like it was just another toy line. They weren't treating it like what it really is, which is like a Peanuts sort of legacy like thing.
Mhm.
But instead, they just kept going and going until eventually now we're in All Engines Go. And now Thomas is no longer a legacy toy line. It's a legacy brand, but they're not treating it like that necessarily. They're treating it like All Engines Go, the newest Thomas cartoon. They're treating it like damn, what's a good like I guess
They're doing this thing that Mattel does when they try to like change Thomas fundamentally, and it really annoys me every single time they do it. Is they try to pretend that this is the plan all the time, like this is how it's always been, and this was the plan the whole time, and it's going perfectly, and it really irritates me because they go to like measures to just completely erase all of the old Thomas stuff and be like, look, it's All Engines Go, you know. Like the Day Out with Thomas, like the Day Out with Thomas events, for example, are like fucked. They can't like. Didn't they put an All Engines Go face onto one of them? Not the Strasbourg Thomas, but there was one other one that had an All Engines Go Thomas.
No,
I'm certain they did.
The Owagawa one or whatever did.
I don't know if that's true. I know they put the All Engines Go voice in one of, or maybe all of the like the non-steam powered ones.
But like, that might be it. That might be what I'm thinking of.
The thing about it too is that I think what's weird about it is that Mattel is trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to do as much All Engines Go-ification as possible, but they still like sell merch with CGI Thomas on it. I think what they're trying to do now, very slowly but surely, is do CGI as like a classic Thomas brand. Like this is Thomas Classic and this is Thomas New. And that would be one thing if like they treated Classic Thomas with respect beforehand.
But that's what I'm saying is they like kind of awkwardly have just stamped All Engines Go all over all the stuff that they quickly can do. But it's really sloppy and it looks fucking bad and it makes Mattel look stupid. Because they are stupid and they're really dumb.
It is kind of a shame because I do think that there is potential with having like Thomas as a legacy brand and then having like a little kids version and then having like
well, that's kind of what they still do to like someone who just watches on TV, because I observed this a little while ago. At least on Australian TV, they're still showing reruns of Big World episodes alongside All Engines Go. But like Big World ended 3 years ago. What the fuck? Why are they doing that?
See,
I think it might be because All Engines Go isn't getting the ratings.
See, that's kind of what they did for season 7 and 8, because they had the season 8 episodes, or no, excuse me, the season 7 episodes sandwiched between the fucking season 8 episodes. I mean, but that's the thing. They kept going with that brand until it failed. And they're probably going to do the same thing with this one. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. But I feel like as an example, Hit, when they did that, they did it a lot more gracefully than Mattel is doing it now with all the transitions between CGI Thomas to All Engines Go. The transition between classic Thomas to like Hit era Thomas was pretty smooth. Basically, because they I think they fundamentally understood the show at least enough
We're giving a lot of credit to Hit, but like in fairness, they transitioned from models to models when Hit.
That's what I'm saying. They did it in a way that worked.
To 2D animation, like that's they're fundamentally different.
Yeah, see, it's interesting because I really don't think Hit Entertainment is that bad as a company at all. The biggest problem with them is the fact that they didn't train the writers on Thomas to know anything about fucking like locomotives.
Yeah.
They didn't know a single thing about trains, and that's why all the stories are shit. Because they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. That's why Thomas it doesn't, like, he never does anything in the Hit Air episodes. It's really dumb. And if they had just done that one thing, imagine Hit Air episodes, but they're written at least like decently, so Brenner episodes, and with like the Hit Era toys and stuff. That would have been it.
Yeah, that would have been like that could have been maybe not a new peak, but just another high point for the franchise.
Model series Brenner episodes with Hit Era toys. That would have been the goat.
Tetmar definitely killed Thomas going mainstream like it had been in the 90s for sure. Like that was definitely going to come back.
And even, like it was good for merchandise, but like as like a franchise that kind of killed it like back then.
Like in terms of like long-term like Hit got toy sales out, they won the battle, but they definitely lost the war, I feel like, in that moment.
Yeah, no, I think Hit did the smart thing because they saw a company, not a company, but a franchise that had drastically fucked up so bad, and they quickly snatched it up while they could and turned it into a money printing machine that they just continued to use for years and years and years. And they weren't going to stop. They just got bought out by Mattel.
Yeah.
Like they were going to keep going, I bet. They would never have stopped Thomas because it was just money printing. The episodes didn't even need to be good. They were getting progressively worse. I've found that, like, from trying to rewatch some of the Hit Era episodes, those seasons just get worse and worse and worse. Like season 8 is okay, but like past that, it's just consistently, every season gets worse. The writing was drooping, and it didn't matter. Because
the kids were gonna still fucking eat that slop up.
Yeah, because the train. Look, Thomas. That's all it needs to be, realistically, and that's what I feel All Engines Go is. It's Thomas Jingly Key. Look, there he is.
That really is exactly what's happening now, isn't it? Wow.
Bringing it back to the topic of the cast that we had kind of decided on is like, do you feel like talking about this? Do you gain like a new insight on like how Thomas has changed for you? Does this make you like look back on things differently in terms of like the way that you like Thomas?
Not particularly.
Because like sometimes I think about like how like Thomas has changed nowadays in like the Hit Era, and I realize that I really haven't seen as much of it as I think I have, because there was a time when I was like, I just grew out of it as a child, and I got stuck back in with the Brenner Era in terms of at least the show.
Yeah, no, I feel that too.
CGI.
I didn't.
CGI brought me back in.
Yeah, I feel that too. I liked Thomas as a kid, but I only ever really went back to the classic seasons. Like I would watch the new episodes that came out on TV, but there are definitely tons that I missed and just never saw.
There's probably it probably is the same for me, but like for me, Thomas has really been a constant.
Sorry,
there was maybe like a very brief few month period in like 2017 where it's like, okay, I kind of don't really want to fuck with this anymore. But then then it instantly brought me back because I started like joining the fandom as a whole, because I started my Twitter in around then, and that's when I could see like more fandom related things. But that being said, I can't really say that I really watched. I mean, I watched like PBS for the most part. That was my that was my like avenue for Thomas. But I can't say that I really have seen most of the stuff that I was growing up with. I couldn't name you a single season 11 episode that doesn't have a new character.
I mean, I see a lot of people sometimes on Twitter, and they're like, "Hide and Peep is secretly it's fucking." People, we're sleeping on this episode. This is actually really good. I'm like, what the fuck is Hide and Peep? I've never heard of that one in my goddamn life.
Yeah,
And
there's
look it up,
so
and it's
many
like
hit era
Scarloey hides
episodes.
in the wharf or something. And I'm like, oh,
That's what I'm saying. They turned that
That's
shit into
nothing.
money making. It was just a money printer, is all it became. They just were pumping out episodes. Nobody even remembers half of them
Yeah.
because they're all just the same slop.
yeah. And to be fair, if somebody likes the slop, that's okay. I literally watched Ryan give a hit era episode a 5 out of 10 because Ben showed up.
That's true.
So,
Dude, I didn't give it. I gave it 1 extra point because Ben was there.
It was maybe like your score was like
And
what?
also, that
maybe a
episode
3.
was just good. Honestly, that was one hit era episode. Actually, I would say that is kind of cool.
Hank is a large, strong American tender engine who is both helpful and confident.
Wow.
How are we feeling
Like
about
Henry.
Hank, guys? Opinions on
like-
Hank?
So that's the thing too. Like the way we look at Thomas, like I think a lot of these characters we kind of we view them like based on like our headcanons of them, like especially hit era characters, right? We look at them and we're like, oh well. And a lot of headcanons that have been really popular in the fandom have saved characters, I think. Like in terms of like a public perception thing. I'm trying to think of a really good example. I think Hank is a good one. Like giving him like a really like Southern American accent and like enterprising engines, for example. That's something that I think makes him very distinct as a character. Whereas in the show, he just kind of talks normally for the most part.
Yeah, he's got a southern
Or like-
accent, but it's like,
Or like when
well,
people put Flora at like the Vickerstown tramway, like that's not actually what happens. Flora shows up one time and then dies or whatever. Or
yeah,
vanishes.
Flora's
But like
in
a
one
lot of
episode.
these headcanons, people are like, this character is actually really interesting, and then it's just all headcanon.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something also that I think about a lot as like a Thomas fan, is that like I don't like a lot of these characters, and I hear people like, oh well, the potential is great, but like I'm not looking at them from their potential necessarily. I'm looking at them from like what I know from them in like the show or whatever. So
Dude,
it's
you
like,
can just talk to my face about it.
yeah,
All right.
I'm talking about Ryan and the Molly.
This is because he Rondog asked me one time, "What do you think of Molly?" And my response was, "I think the idea of a train who is shy is that I think that has potential."
I mean, which you're right, if I'm being honest with you.
But
It
but
has
but in the
potential,
show,
but, like,
no, Molly doesn't. Molly appears in one episode, and the episode isn't about her. It's about Thomas, and I think she speaks twice, and then she never appears again ever.
You also asked me, and this, and to be fair, this is not a hit era exclusive thing because old slow coach I also have no feelings for. We talked about that too, I think. Because you were like, what would
Yeah.
you do with old slow coach? I was like, I'd scrap her again. I'd have her get sent right back.
Dude,
Sure,
old slow coach. I just like old slow coach's design. I think she looks cool.
Dude,
See,
you would never
and
do
that's
Western
and that's
Railway.
like that's the thing with most of these hit era like characters.
Yeah.
I think fucking guys like Neville, I think guys like Dennis, I think guys like fucking like Rocky. I mean, maybe not Rocky because he was given a character later, but like all those guys look cool, and that's it. Really,
Stanley.
and Stanley, yeah, they look cool, but
I was
they're
thinking about
hardly
Stanley
characters.
today. He's the only train in the entire show who has a silver smoke box.
That's true.
That's awesome.
That seems unsafe.
Why is he like that?
I don't know.
He's just cool. He's got the fucking blings, bro. Get off his back.
No, he fucking sucks, dude. I'm
He's
sorry.
blinged out. He's got like gold buffers too, or some shit, doesn't he?
No, he's got silver buffers.
No,
but
he's
still.
got silver.
Yeah,
buffers.
he's blinged up. He's got his nails done and shit. Get off his back,
He
bro.
did. His nails did. It's true.
Dude, but I have a play rail Angry Gordon. What do you have?
I have a
But see-
job.
No, that's true.
I have a piece of Thomas thing that's signed by Ray Murphy. What do you got? Jack
Who's Ray
shit.
Murphy?
That's right.
Isn't Ray Murphy that guy from Ghostbusters?
No, bro. Ray Murphy is the goat.
He's a goat. How do you sign it with like a hoof?
Head out. But
Ray Murphy's my goat.
Ray Murphy's my hero. That's you.
He's my hero. Watch him as he goes.
Yeah, man. He's my life hero. He built a really good Tommy layout one time.
The funny thing is that I know you're not kidding. Everybody's gonna think, "Oh, what a good joke."
I'm fucking joking, bro. Chill
No,
out.
you're not. No, relax. You're not joking.
I'm gonna slap you, silly.
Dude, slap me silly then. That's the
Holy
thing
moly.
too. Like, Thomas fans are violent.
Are they?
Violent and evil.
Yeah, Ryan just literally said he's gonna slap me in the face.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Oh, I shouldn't say that. That's gonna get cut out.
Okay.
Well, just say it. It'll get cut out.
Oh, I was gonna say that there's a lot of domestic abuse in the Thomas fandom, but then I remembered that there is.
Is there?
Remember the shit with Train Guy Rai? He like beat the fuck out of his boyfriend. Dude, this is gonna get cut out. I think it was Train Guy Rai. I'm sorry if it's the wrong person.
34 mins to 35 mins. Let's bring the topic back now. Okay, so
I just want to say that it's really funny that Ryan wants to keep around old slow coach, but he really hates Henrietta with a face. Really makes you think.
That is true.
Oh, don't bring this shit up on the podcast.
We're bringing this up.
No.
We're bringing this up. We're bringing this
Okay.
up. Right?
I'm gonna say what I think, and then I'm not gonna take any notes from you guys. Okay, this is what I think.
Still gonna give notes.
I personally wouldn't give Henrietta a face simply because I think the dynamic of an engine with their like friend rolling stock is already done in the show twice with Oliver and Toad and Thomas and Annie and Clarabelle. And I know that they did stuff with Toby and Henrietta that was pretty good, and in the Brenner era. I just don't care. I'm not interested. I don't think I will ever need Henrietta to speak in any like story that I ever write. So I just can't be bothered to give her a face. I don't think she just never has any input ever.
Very interesting that you said they've already done it twice, but Oliver and Toad show up after Toby and Henrietta. So actually, Oliver should not have Toad.
But Oliver and Toad are cool.
Okay. And I think Toby and Henrietta is cool.
And I think it is cool, or it's better. I don't know. I just don't care for the Toby and Henrietta interaction. Like it's all. I'm saying this from like a story standpoint. I'm not saying the Henrietta episodes where she has a face are bad. I'm just saying that I don't care. Like if I wanted to do a story like that personally, I would do it with Oliver and Toad, or I'd do it with Thomas and Annie and Clarabelle. Like a mile before I did it with Toby and Henrietta, especially because I'm a big classic series dork and I grew up with the classic series where Henrietta didn't have a face and never spoke. So
she speaks.
What do you want me to do? She speaks like fucking once. Get off my case.
Yeah, but you like Molly. She has great potential. She only speaks like once.
I think, fuck you. You're such a fucking dick. Can we get this guy off the podcast?
Well, Ryan, we gotta finish the episode first.
Dude.
Sorry, dude.
Rondog, you, me, out back of the schoolyard, 3 p.m. I'm gonna knock your block off.
I'm just defending the lady, dude. Relax.
Oh my goodness, Molly?
Or Henrietta.
Oh, I see. See, Henrietta's like married.
I can't believe you bring this shit up on the podcast, you motherfucker.
Sorry.
You're never coming back. I'm banning you.
Dude, come on. This is exactly what your podcast needs.
We need JT back, bro.
Dude, I just want you to know that you now on recording have said we need JT back, and you'll definitely live to regret that.
Hit the revive. Get him back up, dude.
Dude, get his reboot card.
But that's the thing. JT never gets our reboot card, so.
True.
Yeah, because that motherfucker's always like 30,000 yards away. He's like, where do you guys go?
Yeah.
This is going to mean nothing to the podcast guest, but I want this story public.
JT's going to listen to this episode. He's going to get mad at us.
You guys remember
the Fortnite story.
You guys remember we played Fortnite? And he goes, dude, where are you guys? And he's like 4,000 million miles across.
He's on the other side of the circle.
Dude, where were you guys?
Well, I needed you to clutch up, but you didn't do nothing because you weren't there.
JT is Southern. All podcast listeners, JT is Southern, unfortunately.
If ever I wanted Hank to appear, I'd get JT to voice him.
That's funny as shit.
That's epic.
Or Rosie. He could do Rosie, I bet.
He could do Rosie is crazy.
Honestly, I think if I'm being honest, I think JT could do a good Rosie voice if he tried to.
This is now the talk shit about JT podcast.
Yeah, let's.
That's not a talk shit. That's like a you can do a thing.
Yeah, he can do something.
I wouldn't say compliment.
I always like whenever I'm talking about like doing like a voice cast for videos, and he's like, "Can I do Percy?"
Yeah, because he wants to do Percy. I mean, I can see him doing a little Percy voice. I can see it.
I want to do Percy. I always want to do James. I like James.
You should do Ryan because that's your name.
Yeah, that's your namesake.
Yeah, old voice
And Ty
Ryan.
should do my new character, Tyler. That's the way
Hello,
it works.
hey guys, it's me, Tyler.
That's the way the Thomas fandom works. If your name is shared with a Thomas character, you get to play that character.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes.
Hell fucking yeah.
That means that you get to play.
Because that's just me. That's just me. I remember like when I got the wooden railway Ryan, that just became like my self-insert train. I was like, that's just me. That's
Are you
Ryan.
gonna get Bachman Ryan, or are you gonna just go for Stanley?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't think we've gotten Bachman Ryan yet.
What? Oh, in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Do they come to Australia late? I thought they shared it with.
Sometimes they do. Like we only just got Peter Sam like the other month.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but Peter, Sam, and Ryan came out at the same time, didn't they?
Well, maybe Ryan. Maybe I don't know. I just haven't seen him for sale yet, and it depends on the price. It really depends on the price because the Bachman,
Ryan,
you know,
if you ever come
I
to
don't pay
America,
too much
we'll have
for
to
him.
get you Bachman Stanley.
Oh yeah, Bachman Stanley is going to have to be a must.
He looks pretty cool.
Stanley, I love that one.
I think Bachman Stanley or CGI Stanley is one of them that's close enough to the model era where you're probably okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like his wooden toy where like they did the new one and it's got a smaller smoke box.
Yeah,
because it actually it's accurate to what they did to Stanley. Yeah. I have both the old Stanley and the new Stanley, like the wooden ones, and it's so like freaky having them together.
Yeah, I like. I don't really care for that era of Wooden Railway when they like shrunk all the faces down for no fucking reason.
Oh yeah.
But Stanley is like the one improvement, I think, because like as much as I kind of like that model, because I have like fond memories of it, I will admit it kind of looks dookie butt trash.
Yeah, the old Stanley's definitely better. I think that one went to space.
That one did go to space. It's true.
They shipped him off to space by and Tomato was there. Tomato was like, "Daggone."
I was there too, remember? But no, I'm saying the new one's better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tomato freaks me out.
It's mainly because I don't like that Stanley face, like his main like.
Oh yeah. Cheeser. See, yeah, the older one I like it because it's the one I had and it's the one in space and stuff. It's cool. Yeah. It's the Stanley, but no, he's so chunky.
It's kind of chunky.
I'll tell you what. I actually have the best wooden Stanley. I have the early engineers one.
Yeah, the fucking goat, dude. That one rocks.
Yeah, it's accurate. Stanley is an 040 in the show, I think.
No, Stanley's an 060. Are you fucking dumb?
Shut up.
That's your goat, man.
Dude, you are like a fake Stanley fan.
Yeah, man. I'm
gonna.
Can we get some true Stanleyers in the comments, please?
Yeah, can we get?
Can
we get the guy who made that awesome comment on Ryan's channel in the chat?
Oh yeah, fucking Truck 2 or whatever.
Oh, so I can't say it, but all right.
Okay, sorry.
I'm looking at the Bachman Stanley body right now, or like the prototype. I do not like Stanley's big block at the front.
Yeah, what is that like the cylinders or whatever? What is that?
I don't know, but it bugs me because it makes him look
sandboxes maybe.
Yeah, but that's a
big sandbox.
That's a sandbox that you can play in. That's not a sandbox you can like.
I remember, Ronnie. Do you remember when I made Stanley for Naughty Railway? I think you saw that block on the model that I made, and you were like, "Is that correct?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, I think I did say that.
It was you, or like maybe it was JT. I don't know.
Bringing it back to the whole fandom thing, just real quick. When you made Naughty Railway, like when you were starting to make like the original ones, do you think that like your Roblox games, were you making them because you were like excited about the show? Like, was the hype of like, the Thomas show and like the way you looked at it influencing like your development as a game designer?
Well, yeah, I think so. Because I think one thing that was interesting about the show was that it was CGI, and that's kind of what Roblox is almost. Like Roblox is almost like an animation software. You can do like actual animation in it, but even when you're just using it like a game, in the same way that Train Simulator is kind of like CGI. That's kind of like the same things. I remember when I saw the big harbor in Legend of Lost Treasure, and I was like, I really wanted to build that in Roblox. I was like, I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And did you do it?
I think I got like halfway and I stopped. But Yeah, I mean, I built my own harbor in Naughty Railway, tee. But like, really, the reason that I did Naughty Railway was because there were so many Roblox Thomas games that existed back in like 2016, but not a lot of them were good. A lot of them are good now. Like a lot of them are like really like fun, but back then it was pretty barren. Like all of the Thomas Roblox games, there were like 3 or 4 that worked. You know, the other ones were kind of just a bunch of trains sitting around.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember making my game. I like when I started making it, I was like, oh, I want to make a game that is fun to play with all of my buddies. So we could all hop on Roblox and have like a big railway. And I built just a big circle. I think I did it with like I just kind of used a bunch of free models the first time. And I just threw a bunch of random shit on the map, and that's how it started. And it went on from there for many years.
Many moons, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, until
it didn't
last year
anymore.
when I stopped.
Yeah.
Which
and
was
then
cringe, by the way.
Was cringe.
Rip.
We started making a new one, but that
Did
didn't
we?
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Naughty Railway 2.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's like the second time we made Naughty Railway 2.
That's true.
Naughty Railway 2 might come out one day, but like, okay, making a Roblox game is not particularly like I don't really. That's not. It's hard to devote so much time to it because you really do. If you're going to make like a really good, impressive game now, you need to put in like a lot of time and a lot of effort into that. And like being an adult, like I got shit to do, you know.
Got shit going on. I understand.
Yeah. Penis.
Yeah. And that's really that's what will cause the downfall of the fandom one day. People just get busy and leave.
Yeah. And that's the thing about All Engines Go too that's a little bit worrying, at least from my perspective, is that like because there's no All Engines Go content, eventually at some point the main like sort of classic Thomas creators will die off, you know. Maybe there'll be some new upstarts that kind of go back to their stuff and inspire their stuff off of that.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually like there's no circle anymore. Like Ryan was saying earlier, there's no complete circle.
Yeah. I think All Engines Go is already kind of killing it. And then if All Engines Go does, you know, get canned within the next year or so, which I honestly think it might, it'll be interesting to watch the wheel stop completely because eventually because the roll around time for like Thomas fans going through the fandom is usually only pretty short. It's maybe 4 years or so.
Yeah, especially
and having been in the Thomas fandom for a while, it really feels like there's always new people coming in. Like there's always new kids all the time.
There's always new people. There's always new drama with people that we don't know.
If there's no more show, if there's no more content that is Thomas related, no more nothing, that means no new people coming in, which means that in maybe 6-10 years or so, the Thomas fandom might be over. It might stop, which is like crazy to think about, kind of, because it's such like a big place, kind of in a way. There's so much there's so many people and there's so much stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, there's toys are okay sometimes, but I mean, there's always going to be like. See, I'm wondering when guys that have done classic series style stuff for a while, I wonder when they're gonna stop. Like guys like I'm mainly thinking like trains here. Guys like Carson, guys like Riddy Roden, like some of the better like trains guys specifically. I'm wondering when they're gonna
I don't think they'll stop anytime soon, and I'll tell you why. It's because it's not just one guy. There's like a team behind them, and I think working in a team environment does push you forward to make more content and to make better content because you're always like working together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, no matter what your opinion on Carson is, you have to admit the stuff he makes is pretty like quality for the most part.
Yeah,
I think
it's pretty good. He might have stolen that guitar or whatever, but you know,
yeah, he might have bought a guitar with Patreon money, but or whatever
it was he did.
Maybe it's like a GoFundMe. I don't remember. That's like old guard shit, man. Like nobody's gonna know about it these days.
Yeah, and see, that's what I mean by like the fandom roll around time is crazy short. Because all that Castle stuff happened like what, 6 years ago now? Like a long time ago, to the point where no one remembers it anymore. Nobody talks about it ever. People legit have just forgotten.
There is one guy I remember from back in the day who vanished. And it's weird because like there's so many guys from back in like the era. Like Tom Tamika, for example. That's the guy I was thinking of.
Oh my gosh.
That was like he did a ton of stuff back in the 2000s, and then one day he was just gone, right? We don't even really know why. Like I don't even know if he was like necessarily a Thomas fan.
Maybe he just like collected the stuff.
Yeah, but like one day he just vanished, right? And eventually, like no matter what you think, someday people that make Thomas content now are just gonna vanish for one reason or the other. Maybe they'll announce, maybe they won't. So
Eventually,
I think it really is up to like all of us, whether we necessarily want to or not. Like we kind of are like the future of like keeping the Thomas fandom alive in a way. Not like we're like the gatekeepers of Thomas at all, but like it's up to us to like cultivate people to join. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's why like back in the day when there was like that wooden railway like wiki and you had to have like 100 subscribers to join it or whatever. I feel like that was a misstep because that's kind of already putting like a thing on like if you don't have 100 subs, you can't be part of this group.
I remember fucking reading that shit as a kid and being depressed about it. I was like,
it's
oh
up
man.
to like us in the excuse me, I just shit my pants. It's up to us in the future to like actually cultivate the fandom as it is. You know, we have to be accepting of people, and that does include all Indians Go people to an extent. But it's up to us to like say like, look, Thomas sucks right now, whether you like it or not, and we have to keep everybody moving to the future. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna blow my cock.
Blow your nosy. See, that's my thing. And that's a question that has also been running around my brain for a while. Does it suck, or is it bad because it's not the thing that we like? That's the main question, I think.
Genuinely, I think Thomas just is not my thing right now because I'm old and sad and jaded. Like I like Thomas, and there are moments where like I have a moment of clarity where I'm watching an episode and I'm like, yeah, Thomas is awesome. I remember why I like it, but it's also like I got other shit to worry about, you know. And I think a lot of people are kind of coming to the point of like, I think the reason why you see a lot of people kind of getting more jaded and like this actually sucks in the fandom nowadays is because we're kind of all growing up and we're kind of realizing that yeah, Thomas is good, but like Thomas is like a kid show at the end of the day, or like Thomas is one interest of many in somebody's life.
Yeah.
Instead of like Thomas is my one interest and I talk about it on Twitter every day. It's like Thomas is an interest I have and I have a job and like I go to school, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the position I'm in right now. Because like besides this, I haven't really been working on like Thomas content for like a while.
I don't make Thomas content.
For better or for worse. I mean, like the thing that I've been wanting to make is like more movie related content. Like here's a fucking teaser near the end of the episode. I'm working on a fucking Studio Ghibli video right now, and I feel like I have way more interest in that than I have like any other Thomas thing that I've been like thinking about, you know?
Yeah, well, I can't say I relate that particularly because I'm working on a bunch of Thomas videos right now. But
which are gonna be bangers.
Oh, I hope so.
Ronnie, you've been working on something with Master of the Lemons behind the scenes, and I feel like that is like a very big like step into like something new for you specifically. And let's talk about it a little bit.
So I'm gonna take the lead a little bit on this. I'm sorry to take your thing away, but like I've talked about it with Lemmy, and I've talked about it with Henry. I've talked about it with all of you guys, I think, many times in calls. But like I always feel way more like productive and like I'm getting more stuff done and like the video product is better as a result when I'm working with a crew or like when I'm working with like a friend comes over, like Henry or Lemmy comes over, right, to my house and we make a video. You know what I'm saying? That to me feels way more like, holy shit, we're actually doing something. This is awesome. Whereas if like I'm doing it by myself, I'm like, this is boring and slow. You know what I'm saying? And I really like working with people. I like working on music for all of you guys when we do videos. Ryan, he loves to beg for music, and it's very cool. But so do you, Ty.
I do. I mean, I did that for the show.
In fairness, and so does JT. But like, I love to work on projects with everybody. That's what I think keeps my interest in the Thomas fandom and the Thomas brand at large. That's what keeps it going for me. Is like the working with the community aspect of it. So, this new project that we've been working on is really exciting, and I'm not too sure where it's going to go beyond this first thing we're doing, but it's going to be cool because it's going to also, I feel like, do some of that dichotomy of like the fandom and brand again, where it's like we're doing a product that is going to be not only cool for all the fans to enjoy, but also it's going to like fill a slot in the brand that they never finished, which is really exciting. It's that dichotomy of it. And I'd love to work with Sam more on other stuff. You know what I'm saying? That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to just do more content with anybody. You know, right now my real drive for Thomas content is collaboration wise.
Hey, not bad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I will not be working on Mail Train James.
What the fuck? No.
Sorry. It just freaks
Please.
But like I'm trying to think like other collaborations I've done in the past. I mean, I've worked with Ryan a couple times. Like with helping you like with 3D printing stuff. That's not like really like a collaboration, but like we did stuff, you know what I'm saying? We did the deed sexually. And then like
we tested out each other's prints and stuff.
Yeah, we explored each other's prints, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ty, like I've done music for you before.
That's true.
JT
and that's elevated
as well. I've written a story.
You wrote a video for JT.
Yeah, I wrote a video for JT.
You wrote a story for me too. I mean, I like changed it up a little bit, but like that was mostly you for Rule Breaker.
Yeah, he was kind of sick and twisted, that rule breaking character.
That rule breaking Richard, yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of just really cool stuff that like I've done. But my favorite stuff that I've done is like stuff I've worked on with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I think collaboration wise, I feel like that's my favorite thing about like Thomas content creation, and it definitely helps me feel less like I'm like old and I'm like I'm not part of this community. They're talking about Diesel bouncing around and playing kickball. Now it's like, yeah, I'm part of the fandom, and I did this cool thing the other day, and I talked to some boys, and we just shot the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
It makes me feel less like I'm going to die someday. You know, kind of some sick, twisted shit.
It is sick and twisted, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your favorite collaboration you've done, Mr. Ty Happy Productions?
Me.
You did your own self?
I've done some stuff. I think my favorite is probably the Where Are You video, because I was lucky enough to get an interview with the creator of the series, Seth, which I talked about several times in that video. But the fact that I was able to collaborate with somebody that, you know, is directly tied to a project, it was very rewarding, and I think it made the overall product way better than it would be without it.
Yeah.
And then of course, like having music in several of my classic mini stories episodes from Rondog 248 here.
Evil.
Because I feel like you made a fucking a sick like duck danger theme or whatever.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I really liked it. It was a duck danger theme. It rocks, dude.
What about you, Ryan? What's your favorite collaboration?
I'm
not gonna put words in your mouth, but I feel like Too Much Thomas would probably be one of your favorites.
You know, see that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, Too Much Thomas has been an absolute delight to do. With Ben from the beginning, Ben 11 GWR. I found out today he still fucking makes videos on a different channel.
What?
So I'm gonna show you that later. But
what's it called?
It's called Back to Ben.
Back to the Ben.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We'll put a link in the description. Anyway, he put out a video today. Anyway, working with Ben has been fantastic. I feel like Ben is like on the exact same wavelength as me at all times. It's like having a clone around, if I'm being honest with you.
That's creepy, bro.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. We never disagree about anything ever, except for like I don't know where like the airport should go on the next Too Much Thomas layout or some dumb shit like that. Actually, I don't have the airport. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, and then of course Ray Murphy, um, collaborating a bit there as well by selling me some of his old trains and stuff, which is fantastic, and we'll definitely.
I'm skimming through his new video right now. I'm gonna put something in the Discord chat. I'm so sorry for cutting you off, but this is really important.
Okay, I think I know what it might be.
Ty, you might need to use this in an upcoming video of yours.
Oh, let's take a look.
Is that what it was? Is that what it was, Ryan? Did I get it right? I guess not. I guess we'll never know.
Yeah. No, there's that video is pretty long. There's a lot of funny bits in it. But anyway, yeah, Ray Murphy has been fantastic, and yeah, that's been pretty good. I've said before that I tend to meet Thomas fans like pretty often at the Too Much Thomas show, and I think it's definitely possible that in the future we might be doing Too Much Thomas shows alongside some other Thomas people also doing displays with HO models, or stuff like that, which is pretty cool, and I'd love to see that happen. So I'd love to collaborate more with people, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever do a show in America, like genuinely?
If you're able to.
Yes, absolutely. See, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will one day, hopefully soon, I will definitely come to one of the Northlands like Greenberg shows or whatever it is.
Close, isn't it?
Oh, which one do they go to now?
Edison.
Yeah. I'll come to one of the Edison shows. I'll hit up fucking I don't know who's got a lot of Tommy stuff.
Honestly, if you just like hit up the cats that like do the Tommy displays there and like just suggest a collaboration, that could be something.
Yeah, I'll find someone who has a lot of Tommy trains, and then I'll just bring the ones that Ray Murphy sold to me, and all of the signs and stuff. And I'll do like a as close as we'll get to a proper official Too Much Thomas show done in the States, and that'll be fun. We'll have to do like some shit like give Thomas like an American flag or something, because that'd be fun because he's away from home. That'd be cute. You know what I mean?
Who's Thomas?
Oh.
I don't know, which is ironic because Thomas is a British character. But anyway.
Australia,
Thomas,
British,
he's going from Australia to the US, but he's a British character. Yeah.
He's going all around.
That's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know what?
I've collabed with you, Ty, on some videos, and you, Rondog, as well.
That's true.
One video I really like that all three of us worked on was Double Quarry Trouble.
Banger. Fucking banger.
Yeah, man.
Go and watch
Which is sad.
Yeah, so everyone that listens to this, go and watch that. I'll probably put that in the description.
Yeah.
Too.
Double Quarry Trouble is a great video. All three of us worked on it. Ty was the narrator, Rondog did the music, and I did all of the other stuff.
I also funded Ryan's future endeavors with that video.
Oh
That's
no.
True. Oh yeah! Wow. Fuck,
we've never mentioned this, Rondog. The whole reason I made Double Quarry Trouble was because this motherfucker Rondog bet me, what was it, $50?
Yeah.
That I couldn't make a video in 2 months, like a whole original Thomas story in 2 months.
Not even 2 months. I said you can't do any references in it because this is back when the reference war was big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For the people that don't know, in our little group, we have a bit that Ryan just makes references to things a lot, especially like
Thomas the
back
Tank
then.
Engine. I reference Thomas because I love references.
My only comment is the YouTube Game Over sticker on Double Quarry Trouble.
Game over. Yeah, but Double Quarry Trouble is a great video. I think we're all happy with that.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
I think that is a good note to end on today.
I think so too, old friend. I think so too.
All right. So yeah, this has been two and a half trucks. I'm Ty.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Rondog248.
And we'll see y'all next time. Hopefully JT will be back from Beyond the Veil next time. We'll see.
Did we get his reboot?
I got his reboot. I'm rebooting.
Genuinely, I bet
okay, we're chilling.
genuinely,
We
I
got to
bet
find a van. We got to find a van to reboot him at. But
I just want to
he'll
say
be here
before
next episode.
before the episode ends, JT is most definitely grounded.
We're just gonna have to see.
He definitely got a D on his report card, and he's fucking fired.
Oh, poor JT.
We're just gonna have to wait and see, and we'll be seeing y'all next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.